Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace. Guitarist Kevin Eubanks for 15 years graced the stage every single night as the music director for Jay Leno on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. After 15 years, he decided to step down and do what he loves best, and that's record. His latest Mack Avenue Records release, Zen Food, is really his return to him playing both the acoustic as well as the electric jazz guitar. Tonight at Birdland, he will be performing selections off his brand new CD, as well as tonight we'll talk about his career with Jay Leno, him being part of that glorious 1980s Young Lions crew, as well as his return to normal life. Zen Food. This is the very first Mack Avenue's record release after your departure from The Tonight Show. How do you feel about this CD?
Feel great about it, man. It's allowed me to travel again and play with some wonderful musicians. And before we continue, I just want everybody to know this brother is mad cool. Check out his podcast. This brother is mad cool. He can deal with it. He can deal with it. I'm down. I'm a fan. I'm a fan now. Yes, and one of the things Zen Food has done is got me to hang out with him. So I'm very happy that we've made it. I'm serious. He can handle it, you know. So yes, it's been a good experience, and everything's been. We've been getting on the road, and we're playing. We're having a blast, and I'm looking forward to continuing to record some new music for Mack Avenue and get out on the road. And I just want to see what's left of the world.
For 15 years, you still recorded, and you recorded on your own imprint, but how is it like now to just be officially away from The Tonight Show and just dedicate yourself full-time to your music?
Well, I was always dedicated to music, full-time, even though I'm doing The Tonight Show. I never was not dedicated to music. Music was a big part of The Tonight Show, and I was really dedicated to making sure the music fit the show and did everything it was supposed to do to support, you know, the job I was doing. And I just feel very, very fortunate to be able to partake in such a extremely, you know, prominent show in American culture for all those years. And with the blessings of the show, come out and get out and play in front of live audiences around, thus far around the country, but we're going to be starting to travel in different countries in Europe and Japan coming up, so we're going to get around to a lot of places. So it's just a different vantage point to check out things. I get to to play again outside of television. It was a wonderful thing to play in television and to meet so many wonderful people that I got to share music with, from Vince Gill to Leanne Rimes. With Arsenio Hall, we have a music thing that we're doing, and of course, you know, learning the timing of comedians with, you know, one of the greatest from Jay, and so I just feel so wonderfully blessed to be able to partake in both things.
Tell me about your origins in Philadelphia. Who was the person that really got you into just jazz music, but also what made you want to play the guitar?
Well, my whole family is, I've been raised in music since I was born, with my mom and her brothers. Ray Bryant, very famous jazz and blues piano player. Tommy Bryant. The two of them played with the Joe Jones Trio, so they used to come over to my mom's house and rehearse all the time because she was a music teacher, great in gospel and classical music, master's degree in music education. So I was born into that, so I didn't have a chance to do anything else. So I go to a James Brown concert, who was like, you know, we used to take turns on weekends playing who was going to be James Brown for the day. So all the kids in the neighborhood, we get in a circle, and we get in the middle of the circle and do our best James Brown, and whoever won was James Brown for the day. And that was like a big deal, you know. It was like, man, I wanted it. But, you know, I never made it to be James Brown for a day. But when I went to a James Brown concert, I came out wanting to play guitar. So my thanks to James Brown, the godfather of soul and funk and all that. So, you know, you never know how music's going to affect you, and I don't know how I went in. I should have wanted to come out being a dancer or, you know, or something, but I came out playing guitar.
Now, with your brothers, was there always a musical competition going on in the house?
No, we just all played music, and it would just seem natural. And it seemed, you know, probably the unusual thing is one of my brothers, I have 3 brothers, and 3 out of 4 of us play music. The unusual thing is like, what's up with him? He's not playing music. So, but there's no competition or anything like that. No, we just all played music, and notice the Eagles. Anyway, there was no competition. We just grew up playing music, you know.
Who were some of your influences besides James Brown?
My mom and you know, I'm influenced by the people I'm around. You know, if I hang around you long enough, I'll be like, you know, I'll be like, what can I learn from this guy? I'm just influenced mostly by the people I'm around. And of course, we all learn from records and get inspired by people that we see and all that. But when it really gets down to it, it's the people that you see every day, the people in your neighborhood, people that you talk to every day, the people you go on the road with and live with them for months at a time because you're touring around. Those are the people that really influence you. So the work ethic from my mother and father are probably the #1 ingredients to me being, you know, the way I am today, is because of the discipline of my mother and father and the musical influence of my mom. Dad was a policeman and detective, Gold Shield detective, and all that. And my mom, you know, obviously a musician. So there's lots of discipline there, and of course a lot of music. So when I wound up on the Tonight Show, I was like, why did I wind up on this gig? Because you need a lot of discipline and a lot of music. And then I said, oh, Mom and Dad come through again. They're like my true heroes, and my biggest influence are my mother and father.
Came out of that wonderful, beautiful 80s Young Lions class.
Yes, yes.
Tell me what that was like. I mean, you had the Marcellus brothers, you had Carl Allen, Rodney Whitaker, Terrence Blanchard,
Chico Freeman, Ronnie Barrage, Bobby McFerrin. I remember that. We did this concert at Carnegie Hall. Bruce Lumbaugh produced that concert. At least he recorded it anyway. Blue Note, I think it was. That was just a lot of, we didn't know, you know, it was just one of those one-time things, you know, and we were fortunate enough to be there. It was great. It's interesting that I wish we had like a big picture of everybody that was in there, you know. There's no, like that great picture in Harlem, you know, we should have had a picture of that. Maybe somebody had something somewhere, but that was wonderful. That's something you look back on and go, wow. You know, that was really, you know, you don't see that much anymore. I mean, because everybody was there on that one concert, you know. It was really nice. It was a nice thing for them to put together. You know, I wish they could do the same thing again, because I hear younger musicians now, and they just sound incredible. You know, there's never been a lack of talent. And they should do another Young Lions concert just like that, featuring all the younger talent that's coming up now, because people are playing. The younger musicians are just playing incredibly well in all genres of music, not just jazz music. It's just wonderful. So I'm obviously just impressed with the level of musicianship that still is always in existence here. There's never been a problem with having talent, you know, in this country with music.
You're the artistic director for the Jazz in the Classroom for the Thelonious Monk Institute. What is it that you want to implement as far as the younger generations of future jazz musicians?
Well, the first thing I want to do, Tom Carter, who is, you know, the president of the Monk Institute, I'm trying to get him to change the name of Jazz in the Classroom to Music and Arts in the Classroom, because I think calling it Jazz in the Classroom isolates the musicians from everybody else in the different high schools that I visit. It should just be music and arts, because everybody's invited. Jazz, to a fault, have become too individualistic, too exclusive, and in the 50s and 60s being exclusive was an asset. Now it's a liability. You're just the only person in the room, and you're just totally in survival mode because you're too exclusive. So by calling it just jazz in the classroom, the first thing I want to do is eliminate jazz in the classroom and make it music and arts in the classroom, because it's open to everybody. The way I run it, it's open to everybody. My vision of it is to get bigger and bigger, because more and more people are invited to make up what music and arts really is. And when I go to the different high schools around Southern California now, we're starting to go around the country. We're going to do something in Philly and Chicago. The first thing you notice is that there's no money. There's no support financially. There just isn't. So what they have to do is really, like I said before, there's always talent. That is not the problem. We got to figure out ways to fundraise just like anybody else fundraises. Just like they raise money to run for office in the White House. You have to raise money for arts and music in schools. Whether you're doing benefit concerts, whether you get a whole lot of rich people in one room and show them videos of how talented our students are and how it helps benefit the community and everything and all that, just throw everything at them and until they touch their wallet and come up with some money that will help you get instruments, help get some teachers, help get the confidence of the programs up, so the individuals, the kids, will elevate their education, not just in music, but just as a person, where they feel confident and that somebody cares about something other than just the bottom line of things. So it's a really big thing to deal with, but making people aware of what's going on is probably the #1 thing. Like, you could go in there and do master classes and say, oh, you can play this and play that and everything, but most of the people that are really going to do that are going to do it anyway. You know, you can tell right away the people that have a chance of really, you know, doing this as a living and the whole thing. But one of the things that I do, and this is on a high school and college level, is that everybody raise their hand that wants to do music as a living for the rest of their life. And said, okay, let's get something straight right away. There's certain ingredients to be successful in anything. You have to know how to get along with people. You have to be able to study on your own, go in a room, come out more confident, more knowledge than when you went in there too, right? You have to, there's a certain amount of things that you have to do no matter what it is. You have to be able to take direction from people. You have to be able to say, I don't know and I'm willing to learn. You have to be willing to start in the back of the class, take pride in the fact that you'll move up to the front of the class. If you don't have those things, you're not going to be successful in anything. Doesn't matter whether you're a musician with talent or whatever. So if you can see, let's isolate in music those ingredients. Can you get along with somebody? You have to play in a band. You have to play with somebody. If you can't get along with people, after a while, nobody wants to travel with you. Nobody wants you to be in the band. If you can't practice on your own, you can't go study like you do for exams, then you're not going to be able to learn the music. You're not going to be able to go in a room, practice for 5-6 hours, and get really great at your craft. Whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, musician, anything that, you know, is very meticulous, you have to do that yourself. These ingredients are the pinnacle of being successful in anything, you know. And if you don't have that, I don't care if you want to be a musician or a doctor or a lawyer or anything, you're not going to be successful at it. So for the people that don't feel they're going to be musicians for the rest of their life, you can still isolate these fundamental things that will make you successful and identify those in music. When you practice your scales, when you practice this and that and the other, when you're by yourself. I mean, when you're 13, 14, 15 years old, how many people, you know, even younger, how many students, how many kids that age are willing to be alone for that many hours a day when everybody else is out playing or doing video games and all of that, you know? So you're going to be set aside from everybody else, because we're at 13 or 12 years old, you're in a room trying to get a sound out of an instrument when everybody else is playing hoops, playing ball or something or whatever, doing a video game or texting or whatever. So you have to make a commitment. If you're not making a commitment, you're not going to be successful. If you can't get along with people, you're not going to be successful. If you can't study and be a meticulous solo study by yourself, you're not going to be successful. Those are pervasive ingredients. Those count for any successful person. So we talk on that level, so that brings everybody to the same point, whether they're a musician, whether they're a lawyer, whether they're studying with a history major, whatever. So once that sinks in, so now is everybody ready to start talking about something? Now, can we go from that point to the next thing? Because we're talking about being successful, not about being a musician. That crosses the board with everybody. That's where I like to start. It's not a musical program. It's a student success program, you know, and music is just the backdrop to the whole thing. A lot of people, study music and learn those sensibilities, learn those things, move on to something else and become very successful as producers, as this or that or whatever, managers, because they learn discipline through music, and they take that everywhere else.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace. I'd like to personally thank Kevin Eubanks for his time, as well as the staff and management at Birdland. As always, please visit my website, www.thepacereport.com, for my weekly column as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Until next time, peace.